Well, hello. Hello. Oh, goodness gracious. This is Jolene with the Jewel Design, and it is a Tuesday afternoon. Not the Saturday it was supposed to be. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. It's getting hard. I did not realize how hard it would be to get back into the swing of things. When all of December was advents and shorts and posts and then vacation, and it is what it is. So, as you see Christmas, and I'm sorry, here it is, middle of January. And it's Christmas. It's the last, I think, Christmas video I'll do with you guys, unless you guys are like, oh, I want to see the end of that. But it's more show and tell. I haven't finished my little journal thingy, so it's not decorated. I'll have to show that off. The December daily part, the getting it all remembered and getting it all journaled. So what today was, or Saturday was supposed to be that we're doing today is a post-Christmas use up the fun things you got, whether it's bags, tissue, wrapping paper. God forbid anybody still use clothing boxes, right? We had a Christmas Eve clothing boxes for us, all four of us, for quite a few years. And they're Dollar Tree. They only last so long. I shoved it a little too much in some of them, and this year they just fell apart. So I'm using the bottom of one, right? That goes to this one, and we're going to cover it up to make a standard journal cover. We'll clean it up, so that'll help, right? So we're going to use newspaper and tissue for that one. This is the top of it, so it had this on one end, right? This was sort of how the box looked. And so I'm debating on, I want to use this sort of part of a front cover. So I think we're going to have to fussy cut around here to the point where I want it. Then we're going to leave it straight across the back. And we're going to take the season greeting out, and we're going to, so I can cut it and use it elsewhere, because I don't want to cut this in half. I don't want to cut him in half. And then, this red might be something that overlaps to make it big enough to match the width of here for the back. So we're going to do a little, piece together and create another cover. It's cardboard in the back, and it may stay that way until we decide whether it's going to overlap something else. But I want to get certain bits and pieces together, right? Now, of course, gluing one on top of the other is going to leave a bump on the back, but that gives us a perfect spot to make a lace tuck on a vertical tuck type thing on the back. So there's little things like that. And then the third base I want to try to work on, not so much this though, it almost goes well color wise, is my mom wrapped the front of a very large Christmas present for us and me and the girls. And it's a huge Amazon box. There's no way we can get around it. So she just put a huge piece of this lovely fabric, this lovely wrapping paper across the front and above, so we couldn't tell what it exactly was. And she says it's vintage. It's been sitting in her pile for some time, and I love the brightness to the red and green. Now, it does make it challenging for next year, not knowing what it's going to be, but we're going to create the basic, the base to a probably folio piece. It's going to be a four piece folio that we will use. I don't think we have them anymore. This sort of nude colored file folder, and I think this is the color that we lost when I had to change vendors. It used to be 6 colors, and this was one of them, and now we're down to 5, and this one is not in there anymore. But it's a perfect color, I think, for this. Because of this fun little cream line in there, it's almost exactly this. So I think we're going to use this as our base. Definitely in the front. We're going to fold it in 4s. I'm trying to think, do I want the tab in the front when we fold it inward? No, it's going to be an inward fold anyway. So we'll use a tab on the inside to open up, tab on the out, then we have the indent on this side. So yeah, we're going to fold this in 4s. We're going to cut our panels. I'm almost tempted to go all the way across and then fold it, but I'm afraid it'll tear. So I think we're going to make panels out of this. And we're going to glue them, cut and trace and glue them down for the outside. So all 4 panels have have this cute vintage, retro vintage wrapping paper. So we're using wrapping paper, tissue, and boxes. And so we're gonna make some bases for Christmas for next year. So it'll be interesting. I'm gonna have to really keep my eye out for a really fun journal kit, or make one or the other, to go with this one. This one's gonna. So I'm not gonna go all the way out on this one. Let's see if we can do this without ruining it. I love these file folders. They're great. And as we're going to go where the fold naturally just lays out, I think. Ugh. All right, we'll do that, and then we'll have to match the other side. Okay, so yeah, we're going to do a nice tall, skinny 4-panel folio. We'll cover this outside, but we can see this. It's lighter on the inside, and it still goes. Yeah, really light. Either way, I think it goes. But we're gonna make this tall one, and that way, that leaves us the ability. I'm gonna take this other stuff out of the way so we are not bumping up into it. So that we can then put a bunch of pockets. You know, we can do a bunch of pockets. We could probably put a small journal in here, off one, like on the top with something on the bottom, or do 2 skinny journals that go in here, like thinner ones, and pockets. But we could really get my fun interactive side going on this one, as everybody knows. And okay, so I can't go all the way in like I thought. So the back and the front are going to be a little different. I don't want to go all the way in, simply because we want to have room so that when they're inside, they are not bouncing. Now, that is definitely one bigger than the other. So we'll do this. Well, I love it. Preferably, I prefer to have the back side of my journal or folio wider, or wider than my front, because here now we have one we can see. This might be peekabooing out, so even though we might have a light border, we're going to have, you know, the wrapping paper, a little bit of a border, and then we're going to see a peekaboo of the next panel on the other side. Or it also allows us to put in lace or some kind of trim, and it's not going to stick out beyond the folio. So that works. I don't mind that. This gives you this. This lets you know you have a nice little tab here to open up this, and we're really good. Now these are full 12 or a little past 12. No, not quite. They're about 11 and a half. Just over 11 and a half inches tall. And we now just made it by, you know, eyeballing it. The fun part is, even though it does it, because this side should always come up, this comes up taller. Even though I'm going across the main fold, there are 2 other score lines in here to help expand an A-file folder. And I guess that's something we could have thought about and moved it in or out, but you know, it is what it is. So I eyeballed it, and we now have a 4 3/4 wide folio by 11 and a half. All right, by doing 2 cute folds, you are going to just go by what makes sense. Again, you don't want it to get too far in, because then it's hard to close the journal or the folio when there's too much right up against the line. But I do love how when we're done with this, it'll have sort of this cut. They almost look like puzzle pieces. They really are. They really are almost puzzle piece at work, right? So you have that, which they also do fold inside each other, and they perfectly keep themselves from getting in the way. Oh, love it. Okay, now I like laying it down. Know that I have a piece of paper that's going to cover the whole kit and caboodle without any problems. My only worry is the moment we fold it, I'm afraid it'll rip down the middle. So that is not going to be our best bet. But what I do want to do is make sure that, because this one is a Hallmark. Oh my gosh, it's a Hallmark. Wow. And it has the grids on the back. So I can line up my grids from here to here and over here and do what I need to do. But what I'm going to do is, well, if you know me, I love to give ourselves a slight border. Hopefully I'm still on camera. I'm way up there. I love to give ourselves a slight border all the way around when I do panel work, especially when it's not crossing the fold line. So to do that as well as possible is to trace, especially when we have odd shapes, is to trace the interesting parts, right? So we can carefully cut it. We know we need to go across the bottom and top, right? Grids are helpful. But we want to come up short. And since I fixed it on this grid, there's a grid way over here, but now my grids don't match up over here. Perfect. We're going to need to come in a little bit. And I am just sort of eyeballing it, I'm afraid. Let's see, 1, 2 dots in maybe. But that's only going to give it the thinnest of thins. And right now I'm top to bottom. I just realized that it's not going to work either. 1, 2, let's see. I can see 3 little dots. So I'm going to try to go 3 little dots in. Shoot. 1, 2, and 3 here. Okay. Now, what I didn't pay attention to was the fact I also don't want top and bottom perfect. Because even if I move it inward, I'm not going to see anything across the top or anything across the bottom, which will change the shape of my thing just a little. So what I could do, so it doesn't quite match, is decide Yeah, this is sort of where I think what I'm going to do is we're going to bring it up to where maybe these guys don't quite perfectly round on the corners, and I may have to force the roundness, right? So 3 dot to 3 dot here. Let's see if this is going to work. I don't know. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. It's right there. I'm trying to see if there's even a chance of figuring out. Let's do it that way. Okay. And when I cut it, it's going to make a difference too. But none of these panels are going to be the same. It's sort of a bummer. Because they're all... Now, these two are almost the same, but they're really not either. I will measure those probably perfectly to make sure that... yeah, try to make sure I measure those almost perfectly so that there's no chance of... Ooh, here's the fun part. No dots up here. Oh, wait. Let's see. Where did I do that one? Right there, huh? So I see, you guys probably can't see it. I'm so sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not counting the one I'm on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I am trying to use the grids, and there's even these tiny little dots everywhere that I am trying to use to fix my lines. Oh, my goodness. And it's, you know, it's Hallmark. It's been around. So... we'll probably use my little scissors, so I'm not going anything too big. And I know when I started here that it should go all the way across. So even though I'm going each one smaller than the first one, yeah, I have room all the way across. And I'm trying to go as low as I can to this ripped section so that I'm not using... I will have a chunk up above. And I have this little chunk here too, which is perfect because if we decide to do any pockets on the inside or whatever... I would want more of the fabric. Now, I have actually not fabric. I'm so used to working with fabric. I'd want more of the wrapping paper, which I do have a lot more. Which you never know. Maybe we'll have a fun set of this stuff next year. Who knows, right? If there's that, and we're gonna cut over here. So I hope you're all doing really well, and that January so far has been good for you. A few of my friends have had a few hiccups, but. Oh, I don't know anymore, you know? I don't think there's like a honest to God stop and start and we're just like, oh, life is perfect. No, not really. It's like, oh, it's 2026 and it's all going to be good. Well, so far so good on my end. We're crossing our fingers, dotting our I's, and saying lots of prayers for everybody else. Oh my goodness. But I am trying to get into the rhythm again. I, you know, was doing easily 3 videos a week for you guys, a couple shorts last year, and then we got into the habit, you know, I got into the habit in December doing all the shorts for December Daily, not December Daily, but for the Advent, like, prompts, and then it went down to photos, and then I couldn't even keep that up as it was getting too close to Christmas, trying to get orders out for you guys, and just getting into the rhythm with my kids for the holidays. They get out so close to Christmas these days, it feels like break starts, and we used to be like a whole week before Christmas, and then between Christmas and New Year's, and then, yeah, you know, depending, you had a day or two after New Year's maybe before you went back. But these days, it's like, bam, they're out, and it's Friday, and, you know, yes, this year at least they did have a week. Their last day was a Thursday, and Christmas wasn't until Thursday, but it was like, it felt like because that weekend was right there, like you just had to cram all kinds in. It was a little weird. It was an odd feeling. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting, right? Alright, so every scrap we come across, nothing is going to get wasted. But isn't that cute? Look at that. I did that backwards. I hope I just didn't do that wrong. Oh, don't you hate it when you have this moment and you're like, well, not quite what I was hoping for. Shoot. It's here, which is perfect. So when you move inward, top and bottom came out good. Even the sides to a point aren't bad, but I didn't get this up. So I'm going to have to try to carefully eyeball, pick one or the other and figure out where I want to move that up. Yeah, I mean, I love it. We're doing so good. And I will round this corner down here. I will round this up here, and I will round this up here just to give us some room. But I have got to try to eyeball the potential of this. See if I can give it a little bit more width. And yes, I'm going to have to eyeball it, and it's not going to be pretty. Let's see if we can do it, right? It's the only downside about giving yourself sort of a framed border when you do panel work instead of covering it to the edge, which I think that's sort of the fun part is doing this, that you do give it a nice border all the way around, that you have to endure this. And, you know, it's a little off. It's a little different. It's a little something. So we are just going to, on both sides here, I do realize I did round that more than what's actually there. Very carefully. There we go. So at least it has a similar purpose. When it's all glued, we will carefully probably do a little bit of inking. I will keep this to a probably vintage, just to really use the photo vintage ink, because I really want it. Now there's imperfections, and I think that's great. I think that works. It has where tape was. And I realize I do not have any of my glues out here, ladies and gentlemen. Ah, I'm out of whatever. So let me pause real quick. Let me go find my glues and my rounder. Because I apparently, oh, and I know I redid stuff, but I didn't put, oh, that's not, I don't know, this one is, I don't remember this is which way this goes. I have one and I'm like, wait, let's make sure that's the right one. Okay. Let's see if this is enough or too small. I can always go bigger. Oh, perfect. Yeah, this is not going to match our silly ends, but it will give us a nice round to just not make it so square inside of a lovely thing. So, okay, we'll use that today. I have no, it's a corner rounder by Marvy. Oh, I think it came out of my grandmother's, my grandma Barbara's, my dad's mom's collection, I think. I'm trying to, so yeah, who knows? I've had it for way too long. All right, so yes, let me go get the proper tools because it's been way too cold out here to leave anything out. Made the mistake of leaving my laptop out here the past day or two, crossing our fingers, nothing happened. Okay, 1 second, ladies and gentlemen, 1 second. Okay, got a brand new glue stick. It's very nice when you run out of one and the other side you, oh, it's already white. I didn't think it's been out here that long. Interesting. No, I am doing a glue stick because it is, see, how do I do this? I think I'm going to put the glue on here and then put this down because I just do not know how good the, what's the word? I don't want to go try to cross the wrapping paper and take a chance that, it's better be working. Take a chance that it rips as I'm going across or I catch it. I'd rather have extra and, you know, not have enough of something. So anyway, I'm hoping this sort of helps, you know, makes you, I know Christmas is done, but if you're like me and you are behind schedule, okay, that just goes on and I am not going to mess with it. Okay. You know, we have things to do before you put things away, before you decide for sure, put all of it away and, you know, sort of, go ahead and see what you can use. Do a little prep work. Right? And we always feel like we're behind. We all feel like we're behind the next year, right? We can't get ahead of the game. Now, this may be something where I have 3 wonderful projects to get started in, even in Christmas and July, right? Get a little farther, pick out kits. You know, do something with you guys. To be able. So then if we do a little ink, which I see my inking is actually going. Oh, sorry guys. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I put my brown ink, this is getting low, over on another side because I have a new one and I wanted to use the ink for my invoices. Like, wait, I have a new one. The other one's probably not done, but I think I'm going to use it for my thank yous and stamp work. Use this one. Right? So I just want to see what it looks like. Yeah, I think we can have a fun, I think we can find a few, need to find some, do a little eclectic, but find some vintage and some retro kits that are really bright. These are almost, this is almost a reddish orange. It's definitely not a cranberry or blue red. I mean, there's a little bit of a blue red in here. And it's probably glaring, but there's a lot of brighter orange stuff. So it's very, I feel retro, but you know, vintage, retro, whatever, is definitely not your typical anything. So there we go. Okay, so we're gonna get the other one done. Let's see if we can do a better job on the second side. On the other one, and then I will go on the next one, because the back two are measuring it, cutting it, being done. Those are easy. That is a piece of cake, right? To go ahead and do, you know, the rest is not hard. I just thought we'd have the fun part of just getting a feel for the potential of what it would take to, you know, lay it out, measure it, go about the next way. Now, fun part is, we know it goes all the way across, but I want a nice clean, somewhat clean. So I don't know if I want to waste that little space there. Keep it where it was before, do the same thing across. I really do want to make sure that I go at that indent. And I just don't know whether I want to do it by hand a different way. Right? Do something more here, and it's ripped, and it's torn, and we create it, and then I go underneath it. Or do I make it all one piece? I mean, we could do it, and then I could put something fun across the line to make it blend as more doable. I sort of feel like I'm loving the rip, right? And it's already sort of on one end. It's already sort of at an angle down here. So I wonder if, let's see, we could, oh gosh, it's so scary, right? Try to get the right panel. It's not perfect, but if we ink it underneath, and then, yeah, let's ink it underneath, and then we'll put it up, and I'm going to cut some off, and then the next piece would just be a perfect, almost a perfect triangle, but then we'll do like we did over here, where we'll just round it, and that would make it so much easier. I'm liking the idea. Okay, so where is my pencil and my ruler, which I keep moving, which I'm so happy that we have I have a new one. And let's see, how much do I really want to cut off? Well, I know we need to go into here. I want to make sure it goes under. I need right here. It's probably what I need to cut off so it bounces right up against it. Let's see, how do I want to do this? I'm trying to find the right spot where I feel like, okay, so I am using my little hash marks here as my thing all the way up top and bottom. And that is my guideline. But it means it's also what I'm going to try to use as a guideline for what kind of border I'm doing. And see, I even marked it by accident right here. But that's going to be really beneficial because I think that's how we're going to decide. Get a little bit more in there. That's okay. There we go. I think it's how we're going to decide how our... Ooh, that does rip right down that middle. Whew. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get our ink in, or our sticky stuff in there. We're going to have this fun little ink moment. There we go. I'm loving that. And where those dots are is going to be my starting point for knowing exactly what kind of a border I'm looking at. So now I can measure. I'm not cutting into this. I'm not doing anything that's going to be weird. I'm going to have so many scraps, guys. Oh my gosh, you know how this is going to go. All right, let's see. Move that over there. Okay, so now I can measure. All right, so that was exactly, oh gosh, I don't even know what that is. That is just shy, or just is, 1/2, yeah, half a centimeter. Half a centimeter, no, half a centimeter? Yes, half a centimeter. That's a centimeter, that's half, I guess. That's what those are, yes. So those are millimeters are the little guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 6 millimeters. So 6 millimeters, of course, on the other side, right? So that gives me, so if we're going to stick to that concept, 29, 30, think it goes 30.5. That's funny. 9.5 centimeters. All right. Can I do that in inches, or am I going to? Or yeah, 9. Let's stick to the centimeters since we started out that way. I'm actually don't minding it sometimes. Sometimes it's just too hard to do inches in between, and you're just like, no, nope, can't do it. Can't do it. Don't think so. So 21.5 centimeters over. We'll just do this. How about this? We don't 21.5 centimeters. No, not centimeters. Let's not confuse ourselves. And then that means we're doing 0.5 centimeter top and bottom, which is not too far from what we were doing. I am looking right here, and we're pretty close at a slight angle at 0.5 centimeter top and bottom here too. Not perfectly compared to what the rest of it will be, but it does give me a starting point. So again, from 30 down to, this is 1 centimeter, that is 30.5, and I take down a whole centimeter. Let's see. Well, yeah, hold on. Let's see. Let's not even try to do the math here. I'm like, oh, I'm trying to do the math, and that's bad. So let's go up. There's 0. So that is 28.5 centimeters. Okay. 28.5 centimeters. All right. So let's not, let's just not guess at it too badly. So from the bottom up, as best I can, along the line here, am I off camera? Not bad. Hopefully you guys can see everything. I feel like it's dark, but it's my computer. I mean, my computer. It's my, can't go way up there. Okay. So, inches, yep, hold on, flip it around so I'm not messing myself up. Let's see, where am I going? Okay, right here. I'm making a line so I know where I'm at, hopefully. And I'm going straight up to 28.5, which is almost where I was up here. So, that's all, 28.5. Okay, so close to where we were before. I just want to make sure I don't have too much of a gap in the difference. So we got way up here to way down here, and we're going to go along this beautiful line, because I want to make sure it's straight, right? Then we are going to go out 21.5 centimeters, which will probably not be along the line, my luck. No, 9. Ah, see, this is where it would have been. I went from 21 to here, and it was actually not 21.5. That is only 9.5 centimeters. See, that would have been bad. I was like, oh my, see? I was doing it from the bottom up. 9.5 centimeters. Oh, that would have just been terrible. I've been like, why is that way over there? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, that's why we have products. Okay, so 9.5 centimeters, right? That makes more sense. So there's one there. I'm going to carefully make marks all the way down so that I can make a nice, somewhat straight line among the ruler, because when, let's see, 9.5. 9.5. Interesting how even on this, it's not, it doesn't look straight, right? It doesn't look like it's the right one, but this is why we take the line and we make the same dot along the first line constantly, so that no matter what it looks like, because things are angled, things are faded, things have issues, we think it's good, and come to find out, it is not. All right, and all the way up, hope it's straight. My 9.5 mark, up all the way up. The straighter I can get this. Of course, cutting is bad enough where it's not straight, but I'm using the 0, I'm using the 9.5, hoping the two might match up. I hope they're as straight as we can be. Because it's a bummer when you do your panel work and you're like, oh, that doesn't look right. Okay, where's this sticking to? I don't know. All right. So hopefully, I don't know, not super, but we're making a really long folio with a file folder. Oops. Those file folders are the Muted Vintage set of 5 tabbed file folders that we have in the shop. That beige, that tanny, neutral, nude skin color, whatever you want to call it, is not part of the kit anymore, I'm afraid. That is a bummer. But it has 2 other warm colors that are in the a muted, like reddish brick, and a the other one. And they're really interesting colors. They're very vintage muted pastel vintage colors. They had a whole set of them for a while. Different things, all in about the same category. So, all right, here's that. Now, here's the fun part, is this tiny little edge. Which will be fun, as I think, is to use these scraps to bring this cover section into the ephemera with whatever kit I do find or create. I will be able to use all these scraps to, right, go over the ephemera and all the fun parts so that we can sort of bring it all together, right? Bring it all together. No one wants it to look too weird, but you don't want to look too obvious or, you know, too eclectic, but it's nice when we can sort of pull it all together and go, oh, there it is. Like, oh, okay, I see the potential she had. Ugh, trying to keep that together. Okay, now let's see how good we did. Oh, let's see how we did. Okay. Little shorter than I expected. Somewhere, somehow. So, only thing I can do is move it over. It's a little, you know, well, it's really what it is, but right on the edge, and it's going to be there. So we will definitely want to do something to bring it together when I'm done. We're going to do lace or something, but we need to get the inner corners clipped like we did on the other side, because that makes all the difference to help sort of bring it together. It looks like my thing is sticking from old tape. Interesting. Wasn't expecting that. There we go. All right. All right. So let's get some. So yeah, it looks like if I keep it up to it, it is going to be 28.5 centimeters. Front, back, and around. You do want to keep your borders pretty consistent as you go from inside to, you know, all the way around. So I will make a note on the back, because they are going to be whiter, but they are going to be 28.5 centimeters tall. And then we just got to figure out, you know, the width on both of them with a what, 1/2 centimeter border. So that later when I get back to it, I know what I'm working with, right? And it's the darn thing when you're working on stuff that you gotta go, oh man, I gotta remember and go back and what was I doing with that? Which I have a lot of projects right now, ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, I've started with you, and then I haven't finished. I've got the pink journal. I have my December. I have my own little mini memory keeping for December that I have to finish so I can put all that away, all that stuff away, and so I can get that kind of Christmas put away with these bases. So I got to make sure the bases are all finished before basic or, you know, put away. And then I have the pink and green vintage Christmas December daily that, you know, I printed and put together as a December daily, or started to, but did not use. So I feel like I'm going to just put all the ephemera I made, get it all glued down, spaced out nicely, you know, within the journal, and make sure that the candy cane circles are prepped with numbers on them so that they go off as a, you know, an extra in the kit, extra in the journal that you can put down as you see fit. Yeah. But anyway, I have prep work. I have to finish that journal as something I can actually sell, or at least prep it enough to where, okay, well, if I change my mind, I can use it next year and don't have to worry about it. But either way, let's see. Get it all going. So it's a little off, and it is panel work, and the nice thing is, because the fact that it is a file folder, it does require sometimes some kind of reinforcement, right? So we need to put some lace on the edges, things like that, where we can sort of finesse things to make them feel a little more put together. If the paneling's off, you don't care for how it turned out, there's ways to fix, which is always good. You can always find a way around it. You can always go, well, how do I want to do this? And lace is always a great way to do that. Hi, little man, what are you doing? My boy went back out, but our neighbors are moving, and so he used to hang out with them a lot, and that has stopped because I took him on as my own, since they would not take care of him. So he's a little confused that, you know, he's finding stuff in the backyard, and He probably knows that something's changed. Not that they, like I said, they don't feed him anymore. They don't do anything, but he's still a little confused. So I'm trying to keep him in the house right now as much as I can, so that they don't, he doesn't try to leave with them, or he doesn't get caught in the house when they're not there, things like that, right? So he gets to go out when they're in between trips. Looks like they didn't go too far. I think they stayed local. So okay, so there we go. I see potential. I'm loving it. There we go. All right, there's our inside. Oh, upside down completely. And oh, it didn't even come close. We didn't even think about that. Oh. Okay. Well, that's a bummer. We have gold, which might be really pretty on this. We have gold gimp, both an antique gold and a shinier dark gold. That might be really fun right here. And then we put some thin little trim right here, and that would totally hide it in. I think our gimp trim would be really cool right here, and that would just take care of the fact that that is not as well done as I expected. See, lace and trim fixes everything. And I didn't think about it, and so I did need it to go a little farther out for this one. Not just perfectly balanced. I was like, oh, it'll be peekaboo. See, already. So, anyway. Oh, well, it's fine. So, yeah, 28 and a half centimeters tall. It's this is 4 3/4, so probably, 4.5 wide. Not centimeters, just 4.5 wide inches. Back and front, and the two panels would be taken care of. So make sure I'm really careful with the front and tell me the back, right? We want to make sure it's well covered. And we want to do the front because that's going to leave us this beautiful, really fun wallpaper, or not wallpaper, wrapping paper. And then we put a cool, fun topper on here. And I think, it'd be really cool. So I think we could even make it a little bit eclectic and use this in a way, skinny, and then use that as a topper on top of that. So I'll definitely keep it together because I think it has some potential. Of course, depending on what I ended up with for the inside stuff. So, all right, we are getting there. But anyway, take a file folder, take the wrapping paper, measure out how you think you want your borders. If you want borders, some people perfectly cut it and completely glue all the way to the edge. And cover what they're using. I liked the sort of the color in this, so I didn't really want to completely cover the color. I wanted it to blend in, almost as if this was quilted in here. It was squared on, and that is not actually, the wrapping paper, but it's the background. Looks like it's popping right through. So I like that look and that effect. Personally, that's me. Okay, so that is one project. It probably took me 30 minutes just to get to that point, all right? Jeez. All right, so I'll put this all in here. Paper clips, I swear. Okay, so quick cut through to the end here. I was working. You saw nothing, and then look, 3 finished projects. You finish a video, and you go to work on it, and you realize there's a whole weird glitch on something halfway through. Luckily, the creation of this you got to see, but the working on the next 2 projects didn't go well. So really quickly, here's the end result. We went ahead and fussy cut that box topper, or the top to the box, the gift box. There we go, gift box. So I fussy cutted it. You can see here. Now I did put a red piece of paper back here, so you can see with the right textured pattern, like reddish cardstock or scrapbook paper, we could fold it and make it a secondary cover. This becomes more of a wrap around, right? The signature. But it can be, we have a fine piece of paper, sort of a circle here, and ink the outside. We're going to cover the inside with paper, put maybe some kind of lace, something, tuck here to make pocket, right, to help shore it up. But I did have some difficulties, and I did not, I struggled with this one. So I guess it's good that it didn't go well at the end of the video. But I ended up gluing it in, trying to expand it so it would match the front, and it was wonky. I glued it sideways. So luckily I had this cute pom-pom help sort of blend it in, give us a transition. I think it's all good. So once I find the right scrapbook paper, cardstock type thing, or, you know, pattern cardstock for next year to go with whatever kit I decide to put in here. We could easily glue in a signature in here with this extra backing, making this more of a wraparound, but it still gets sewn in, so it opens where it's supposed to. And it can be really lots of fun. And I had the word season's greeting left over from the top. A little bit of that to make maybe a journal card. And I even have a snowflake up here that I can cut out, right, and help blend it all together. So that's going to be a fun single, not too thick, standard journal. So I got to find a cute snowman Christmas wintry kit for this one. Create and or find. Again, a little more retro, a little bit more contemporary, so it definitely won't be a vintage of any sense. This one would definitely be more modern, more contemporary. Could even go a little retro because it is simply a nice basic vector type design. So that'll be fun. But hey, we figured it out. I got it done, but it definitely requires that secondary cover to the signature to make this more of a wraparound. But it's still really fun, and I'm not wasting, right, a decorative box, cardboard, press board, whatever you want to call it. I am not throwing it away. And the bottom of the box, luckily, went to the third journal we were supposed to work on. So this one is done. I was able to get the front and back. It's a little bit wider here on the end than I expected, but I think we're going to want to put lace here anyway to make sure it works. And then on the inside right now, I have some of this really pretty ivory cream GIMP that we have in the shop. There was an off-put section left over, which was perfect length to go from top to bottom. So if I want to hide the fact that that is not the peekaboo we were hoping for, because we barely see the paper, I could cover down the side. But it depends on the kit. If it needs something fancy, this is going to be great. If this is very retro vintage and it doesn't get very fancy, I will probably find lace to go here and sticking out and all that jazz. But I have, things put together. So come July, come next fall, when we're working on Christmas, this folio is ready to go for a very fun, interactive, full of pockets, fun inserts of journals, whatever we want to do. We'll probably start this in July so people have the potential of a December daily, December moments, memory keeping, fun interactive piece to work, especially if you like sort of more the retro Santa Christmas idea. I think that's going to be another fun idea. And then, like I said, the bottom of that wrapping box thing, clothing box, gift box, there we go, gift box, is what we used to make this wrapping paper and tissue basic journal, right? It is 6x9, cut it, cleaned it up. As you can see up at grommets, ready to go to make it easy to tie it closed. Wrapped it around, gave us almost a 1-inch spine. I measured 13 out, 6x6, and that should be a 1-inch left over. But when you score it and fold it, you worry about it. But I actually was very proud of myself that I did it pretty good, and it looks pretty even, right? So there should be plenty of room to put 2 signatures in here, whether they're both 15 pages, like the sort of standard Gail template. Gail Gastinelli template is usually 15 pieces of paper, and you fold it in. Or I can do like 10 and 10, so it's 20 pieces total, something like that. But we have room easily to put 2 signatures in here to make it nice and stout. And this one, definitely needs a winter Christmas floral kit. I don't think it needs to be so much a Santa type winter kit or a shabby kit. It needs to be something very florally, more winter solstice, floral winter season kit. And I think that'd be gorgeous. Now that one I might be able to make myself. That would love to see if I can make a kit actually for this one to blend in. And I love that we have it here. So we'll do the lace for sure down here. I think it'd be gorgeous. Find a nice creamy, even white lace to go here. And we definitely need some lace pockets here, I think, for the inside. So turned out really well. I was very proud of myself. I even bought myself a new set of bookbinding kit so I could do the corner lines and fold this nicely and not have any gaps where we could see where the 2 folded out. So I'm very stoked. I was watching one of our ladies on Facebook or Instagram, and she had this cute little kit, and I found it on Amazon. I would have loved to buy one out of, overseas, but I couldn't read her. When it doesn't translate to English, I can't buy the really good stuff, but I found a cute one on Amazon. So it made it real easy to cut those corners and make sure everything folded over right. So whether I put corners on these or I don't know, I have to find white. Anybody find white book cover corners yet? I haven't seen white ones. Now I have to look for white ones. I think it'd be really cute. So that is, that's the top, that's the bottom of the box. This was the top of the box. It's now a wraparound journal cover, right? double signature, wraparound journal cover, and our file folder wrapping paper paneled kit, which on the inside is all cream though right now, the inside. So we will match it to the kit I'm using. It'll help. Plus a lot of it's going to be hidden because, you know, we're going to put journals in there and we're going to put pockets and covers and tucks and things. Oh my. So I did not use wrapping paper on the inside, but I have plenty left over to help bring everything together. So there it goes, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry you couldn't see the huffing and puffing, but this was just cut, wrap, and be done. This didn't require much of anything, but I love the fact I have wrapping paper and tissue as our cover instead of using fabric or, you know, scrapbook paper or digital paper. I love that we had something different. And then this one was just the fun that we could fussy cut out and try to make work, and get a more, you know, a wraparound cover with using the top of a gift box. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, well, thank you for finishing off this with me real quick and hanging out as we worked on this. I get to show you how those turned out. I even found my old accordion, right? My own tab, well, not accordion, tab, winter cozy that I did a couple years ago, and it was cute. We flipped it up horizontally, right? You looked at it, it was cute. And then you flipped around the other side and you did the other side. It was very decorative, very cute. I was using up journal cards. I was using up prompts. And it even had pockets for some cute little guys in here, right? Because I lost the other one that I think was in the other direction. So this one's all done now for the 2025. Isn't that cute? I decorated it, put the number on it so I knew what it was. I wrote on the bottom of each one of my photos. And see, both sides are all in. So all I have to do is do a little actual journaling on the inside. Ugh. But I'm happy that I have this cute little memory thing that I'll pull out with the other one. So between the 2 years, I can pull these out for next year and decide what needs to go on. And I'm loving the fact that, yes, with a little memory keeping, you know, you can decide from year to year what you did, what you changed, what you loved, and you can look back on it. And, you know, you can't go wrong with that, right? So I love you all very much. Thank you for joining me. This is the last, hopefully, of the Christmas. Right? Last of the Christmas. So stoked. We'll be on to the Garden Stroll folio piece next, as I work on other projects off the side or in shorts. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are done for the Christmas season. We'll start up again in July. We'll get some new kits going, and we will get ready for the new season. So hopefully you'll come back on Tuesday. No, this is Tuesday. Come back on Thursday, and we'll start again. Love you all so much. Bye-bye.